cases of disasters across the country have not been given necessary attention. For example, the hunger issue in IDP camps in the Northeast, the farmers-herdsmen conflicts, fire disaster victims, and many other such cases across the country that have been neglected. Concerned that the agency has received more than 10 billion naira from the 20% National Ecological Fund in the last 1 year, 5 billion for hunger intervention in the Northeast, about 2 billion for flood intervention across the country. Worried that these funds were illegally siphoned by officials of the agency through dubious award of contracts, we thought delivering relief items to the victims. House resolved to mandate the Committee on Emergency and Disaster Preparedness to investigate the agency and report back within 6 weeks.
Colleagues, invited guests.
According to the House Committee on Emergency and Disaster Preparedness, which investigated the alleged violation of public trust in the activities of the agency, the actions and inactions of the Director General of NEMA has led the country to losing over 33 billion naira through mismanagement and embezzlement. The Vice President responds through a statement insisting that the approval for the release of the Food Security Intervention Fund was done through due process. The statement reads, resulting from the deliberations of this and subsequent meetings, the approval referred to in the House Committee's report was in fact based on a request raised by the Governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria as facilitator of the National Food Security Program via a letter dated May 25, 2017. As explained in the said letter, there was an immediate need to distribute grains, including rice, maize, soya beans, and sorghum, to internally displaced persons through the National Emergency Management Agency NEMA. The only way to obtain the quantity of grains required was to resort to the National Food Security Program, earlier established by the federal government as a means of shoring up its strategic grain reserves. These presidential approvals were well within the clear constitutional authority of the acting president, who needed to take emergency steps to forestall acute food shortages in the affected states, and there was nothing illegal or unconstitutional about them. The approvals were duly communicated by the Deputy Chief of Staff to the Governor of Central Bank, Director General of NEMA, and the Minister of Finance for implementation. The statement also mentions that Section 43 of the Public Procurement Act makes provision for emergency procurement, in which case the procuring entity is allowed to engage in direct contracting for goods and file a report thereafter with the Bureau of Public Procurement. The House of Representatives has also accused NEMA of not delivering the food items to target states, but the statement by the Vice President denies this. The statement reads, in actual fact, in order to ensure effective distribution of the grains, an emergency food intervention project team was established consisting of the Director General of NEMA and representatives of the National Security Advisor, Chief of Defense Staff, Chief of Army Staff, Chief of Naval Staff, Chief of Air Staff, Department of State Security, Nigeria Police, and the Presidency. The committee also worked with respective state emergency management agencies as well as humanitarian agencies such as World Food Programme, International Committee of the Red Cross, and the United Nations Office for the Coordination of Humanitarian Affairs. Deliveries were publicly made directly to the intended beneficiaries. In fact, the then acting president personally inspected the electronic truck tracking unit established in Maiduguri for the purpose of monitoring the transportation and flagged off the food distribution on the 8th of June 2017. Besides, there was the integration of a robust monitoring and evaluation system into the operation in order to facilitate a transparent and accountable process. Therefore, all insinuations on this matter regarding purported indictments and perceived violation of due process or the Constitution are baseless and totally false. Such interpretations are flawed and should be utterly ignored.
In the full exercise of his powers as acting president, to approve expenditure, especially, within the ambit of the law. We've shown that the Section 43 of the Public Procurement Act, allows the executive arm of government, to be able to take that kind of step in emergency situations. So issues of due process have been taken care of, considering the dire situation that was impending, the impending food crisis in the Northeast. So our laws allow him to make such approval as acting president. The Public Procurement Act does, and the budget always has, provision, for that kind of resources that have been appropriated. So we don't see any basis at all for that kind of claim, and we think that such claims should be ignored.
Why do you think they're insisting?
Well, you have to ask them, because the claims have been made, we have refuted it, and we've proven, very clearly, on the basis of what the facts are actually, that it does have the powers to do it, that will follow the laws of the land. Like I said, Section 43 of the Public Procurement Act gives the cover, for making that kind of approval in an emergency situation.